Hello, everyone. It's me, Kirsten, and this is the It's Giving Mystical podcast. And this is your weekly podcast for the week ahead, the week of June 26th. So we are going to finish June and enter July in this next week. So, Tower Lover, what's changed for you? I was speaking with my trainer, Mackenzie, today, and we're talking about this idea of, I was explaining to her this idea of the tower, of the fact that there's more energy running through the system than the system has capacity for. You guys have heard me say that a million times. That can go a couple of ways, right? One of the ways that can show up is, oh, I feel excitement here, or I feel energy here, and I feel a little destabilized by it. I'm not sure how to handle it. So my container adjusts, the structures adjust around this new voltage load or energy load. The other way that can show up, and you'll probably be able to track this too, is that you will have a sense of, oh, there's too much energy running in this part of my life, or in this conversation, or I'm giving too much here, or there's just too much asked of me in this situation, and it doesn't feel nourishing anymore, or it feels depleting now. And so how do I want to rework the system so that that energetic leakage or that energetic output isn't as intense, stops altogether, or I rewire it in a way where it actually begins a feedback loop of nourishing me in return. So you just want to have a sense of where the energy is, where the energy is vibrating, where it feels unstable, and what's the fix, or what's the experience of that? It won't always be a fix. Is the experience just to allow it to happen? Is there something about actually fixing, something that needs to be rerouted or maintained or rerouted or reset? Or is there something that needs a valve that needs to be shut off? That's not helpful for me anymore. Or is it just the simple sensation of feeling the currents in the ground, feeling the shifts in the ground? June is important. July is important. They say that the intensity of 2026 resides really in these 2 months. I think there's another month in fall that's activating, but this is a big moment. And so just noticing that the Lovers in the Tower was like, remember, choice. Lovers is choice. Do I go this way? Do I go that way? Do I come closer to you? Do I differentiate more into myself? Where's the movement? And ideally, you can feel the energy as just a lot of energy, and you can surf it or ride it or float it. And sometimes it's going to feel a little more like, where are my feet again? The energy we're moving into in July is the Chariot and the Star card. A lovely combination, a very like kind of low key, powerful combination. So we'll talk about that on the July forecast. I'll try to do that this weekend so it's out before the 1st. But the card I pulled for us this week is the Star card. And that's interesting because that's the energy we're moving into. And it came in reverse, but it came in reverse with kind of this energy of, here we come. Here it comes. Here comes the star. Here comes the rest. Here comes the recovery. Here comes the bathing in goodness. The Star card is such a beautiful gift that we receive after the Tower energy. So it's like we endure the hurricane, we endure the storm. And the Star card is when you step outside after a storm and the light is so spectacular and there's a calm and a peace, and you can take a deep breath and you can feel yourself given the space to revive, to re-nourish, to catch your breath. The Star is the card of recovery. It's the card of deep rest is the right word, but replenishment, like soul level, cellular level replenishment. The Star card in my mind is also the card of our masculine ancestors. So if there's any work you want to do around your male lineage, around the energies of your fathers, your grandfathers, your sons, it's very active in a star time. And so you'll notice in July also has the energy of Leo, has energy of the sun. The sun is masculine energy. The star is not quite masculine energy, but it does speak to me of the male lineage, of the masculine lineage, the way that the moon card speaks to me of the feminine lineage. So the Star card is the best part of our masculine lineage. I think this is the image always comes to mind, and anyone who's known me for a while has heard me talk about this because it was such an important part of my journey through hypnosis and even through early shamanism, was a sense so my mother and my father split up, and I went to live with my grandmother, my grandfather, and my mother in New York. And my grandfather had been in an accident, and so he was home mostly. He fixed cars in the garage and was an amazing cook. And my grandmother went to work, and my mother was, in and out trying to make a work and a career for herself. So my caretakers, when I was really young, like 3, 4, 5, 6 years old, were my grandfather and my great-grandfather. and I absolutely adored them, and they absolutely adored me. They were these very tough blue-collar men, and then my uncle was ran the plumbing business that my grandfather couldn't run anymore. He was in and out all the time. My other uncle was still a teenager. He was living at home. And then there was Ray Nowicki, who drove the bus. He would literally park the town bus outside my grandfather's house and come have lunch with us. And then there was my other uncle Ray, who was a former boxer, who always had the golden gloves around his neck. And it was literally, that was my crew. So like that and my cat Mimi, that's who I spent my days with. I'm very lucky that way, that my earliest memories of men in my life is such a happy memory. And my Uncle Chuck used to put me on top of they were all very tall, big men, and he used to put me on top of the refrigerator as like a joke, like kind of to tease me. And they would all stand below me. And one of the first things I saw in shamanism and in many of my hypnosis journeys when I was first training was them, because most of them are gone now, was them standing, and it makes me emotional even saying it, them standing at the refrigerator, all of their faces, they just absolutely adored me. This is where I get my idea that everyone's happy to see me. Because that's literally was my experience of my life in those years. And I see them often envision me sitting on top of the refrigerator and them all smiling and how safe I was, even though I was kind of in this supposedly precarious position. I had all these big, strong, loud men gathered around me, supporting me. And the sensation they always send to me is, you cannot fall. We will catch you. Like, no matter what happens, we've got you. And as a woman who also really loves the women in my family, has always been surrounded by strong, wonderful women, understanding the gift that the masculine lineage is, that my masculine ancestors are to me, is a different kind of nourishment. That sensation of how adored I am and how safe I am, that no matter where I go, no matter what I do or how I behave or what I do wrong or what I do right, that I have this like team of men, team of masculine energies that just applauds me and supports me and has my back in all the ways. That comes to me, that energy always comes to me through the star card. So when I pull the star card, that's who I see. And if that's not something you've explored, I encourage you to do the hypnosis work, to come walk the wheel with us in shamanism, where you visit the ancestors, go do family constellations work with Nina or Maureen, to understand we're such a bifurcated society in terms of men and women. And it is an incredibly powerful influx of energy and gift to your system and your soul to make peace with both the feminine and the masculine line, and to understand that they offer you unique types of nourishment and a unique type of strength. So totally off topic, but I told you that story, I guess, for a reason, and now you've heard it. And it's one of my, every time I think of it, my heart just, I feel really happy. And I guess maybe I needed to, thinking about my own romantic endeavors, maybe I needed to remember that and hear that story. So I could go on about that. But anyways, star card. So star card's coming in for us in July. And again, Leo energy, sun energy. Where is that idea of the anime, the masculine energy? Where is that alive for you? Where is that part of your practice? How at peace are you with that? That's something that might come up for you, might be something to work with or play with or consider in July. In the meantime, we're finishing this last week. Where were we last week? We had the Two of Pentacles. So the Two of Pentacles was a question of your resources, and it was this idea that something was not going to be sustainable. Something was sticky and keeping you off balance and keeping you on your toes and keeping you extending yourself more than you wanted it to. And hopefully in that week, you almost let something drop or saw something with a different perspective that allowed you to stop juggling for a minute and be like, wait a second, this is where I need to be. I have a relationship with my resources that is a two-way river, right? I am the shepherd of my resources, but my resources are also supporting me both. And I'm not the only generator of the resources. I'm not the only one making this work. We want to kind of think about the dance and the mystery of everything being alive, everything being alive. Your money, your home, your body, obviously, your things. There's an energetic truth, vibratory truth to the world that we want to become aware of and that we want to co-create with. We don't want to be the manager. We want to be the co-creator. And listening to someone say something, and I used to think about this a lot because we live next to the Institute for Advanced Study, and one of my parents were astrophysicists, and they used to talk about this idea of dark matter. And I remember thinking the way he was describing it, he was like, well, 95% of the universe is dark matter. 95% of the universe we cannot perceive, completely blind to it. And I used to think about that. Does that mean this room, I'm only perceiving less than 5% of what's happening in this room. And I was listening to a woman on TikTok the other day, and she was kind of going further down that path. And I don't know if that lines up with the science, but it's an interesting idea. And it does align with a lot of belief systems, a lot of experiential systems, a lot of energetic systems, that there's much more happening than we can perceive. And that so much of what's happening is a response to our vibrational energy, is a mirror of our vibrational energy. So I say all of that because the Two of Pentacles hopefully said to you, you can do this differently. You can do this with more stability. You can do this with more support. You're not doing this all by yourself. And then the Star card coming in is like, and now rest, baby. And I don't know about you guys, but May, June have been just nonstop. So the Star card coming in is a welcome invitation to replenishment, to rest, to peace, to the waters. The Star card says, go to the waters, go to the ocean, go to the river, go to the pool, go to the baths, go to the shower, go to the waters, go to the rains. There's something about the Star card that encourages you to submerge yourself in places that can refill you. And it says to me that we're going to start to feel the energetics of June, July, the July energy a little early. There's not going to be this kind of distinction between end of June, early July. There's a way in which those things are going to feel like one experience. I think the Capricorn full moon is on July 1st. Capricorn is, again, earth masculine energy. So the Capricorn is the energy of like, let's be real, let's get real, let's stop messing around. And it does remind me of the sense of these valves, like you're making adjustments in your life. I've been outputting this way. Does that still feel good? If not, what adjustment do I want to make? I'd want more of this. What kind of adjustments can I make? So just really honoring what you are alive to, aware of. And again, nothing is a waste. There is no unsacred thing. There is no inconvenience that is just a random inconvenience. Notice where the pressure points are. Notice where your mind is like stuck on something. Notice where your body is speaking to you. It's all valuable information. It's all valuable information. And especially at a moment like this where so much is getting reformed, so much of the energetic and the container of the energetics is renegotiating, you have this beautiful opportunity to say, what do I want next? I just finished a journal. I have these big moleskin journals that I work with, and I try to put everything in there. So I tried to put my own practice in there. I tried to put my art in here. I tried to put the work I teach in here. And Kim Krantz taught me this. She introduced me to these books, and she has this invocation for a new book, and she'll take you through how to just bless the journal. And then I write the date. So this one I've had since the end of I've had since the end of January, actually to the date. So I've had it to the end of January, and I just finished it. And when I finish these, I feel like something significant shifts. So personally, I feel like this week is going to shake it up a little bit in a good way. And I wonder if you have a practice like that, or there's something that you kind of use to track over time, and it might be a good moment to just tap into that and say, look, what I'm doing. Let me say it again more clearly. This woman I follow on TikTok, she talks about systems a lot. I've referenced her before. I think her work's really interesting. She's like an academic systems guru, but she will relate it to real life. And one of the things she was talking about the other day was just the law of entropy and the fact that everything will become chaos, will disintegrate, will become a mess without active management. And she was using the example of a garden. If you don't attend to your garden, it will just overgrow. If you could have a clean kitchen, but it's only going to be clean for as long as you're maintaining it, right? So it goes back to me cooking dinner. They're only going to be fed if you actually show up and cook dinner every night. And our mind is the same way. Our system is the same way. Our brain is very selective in what it's holding on to. So you add this dark matter thing, you're only perceiving probably less than 5% of what is actually here in space and time and incarnation with you. And then you talk about the law of entropy and the fact that things want to dissolve. They need a shepherd, a manager to keep things, like to attend to what is, to move the ship forward. And so as your own little ship, what do you want to move forward to? What are you actually excited about in this next chapter? And how magical can you be about it? Like how intentional, how gifting of yourself can you be about it to say like, If this matters to me, I'm allowed to want it. It's allowed to matter to me. And the last thing I'm going to say for the star energy this week is, what if your wish has been heard? What if what you are seeking is also seeking you? You've heard that before. But also, I was exchanging voice memos with a girlfriend, and she was talking about they were talking about trying to handle it with grace, and then she was like, "But what if I don't handle it with grace?" And I was like, "Yeah, Grace can fuck herself. Why do we have to do this perfectly? Why can it not just be enough that we're doing it, that we're showing up and alive for it?" So sorry, that's coming back to that entropy thing again. But my point is, the star card says your wish has been heard. And what would happen if you believe that? If you really believe that whatever you're trying to create, build, tend to in your life, you're doing it, like you're showing up for it. What if you believed that the universe heard that? The universe was already responding to it. Where could you relax? Because that's the other thing the star card wants you to relax. It wants you to rest. It doesn't need you to do it gracefully. It doesn't need you to do it beautifully or perfectly or say the right thing. The star just wants you to receive. I want you to get really, really good at receiving, really, really good at understanding that you too are a precious child of the universe, and that none of your dreams are unheard, none of your plans are unsupported and upheld by the universe. You too have a team of adorable, big blue-collar men standing below you saying, "We are willing to work hard to make your dreams come true, and we would never, ever forget about you, and we would never, ever let you fall." Okay, that's my energy for the star card. Miss my grandpa. Miss my uncle. Oh, I love all of them. But may you have your own team with you this week. May you feel supported and loved, and may you have room for replenishment and rest and recovery, and maybe even recognition this week that someone hears you, someone hears the call of your heart, someone hears what you're trying to create, and that the universe is actively and enthusiastically responding to it. Okay, that's enough chatter for today. Happy June, happy July, and I will check you guys later. Bye.